TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, baby, higher.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. It's that time of the week for three men in a box. Well, I'll say two men in a box, or I'll even get better. One man in a box and one man in a car. How's that sound? I can't script this, Elijah. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnerships. Of course, it's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It's free. Viva Tequila Seltzer. CT Bets, that team and family is second to none. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconuts. And of course, Terry Smith at Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Head on over to Facebook and follow Terry Smith. And while you're there, go over to Atlanta Steak and Seafood website, place an order at the checkout window this week and this week only. Use the promo code STRIP, STRIP, and get $25 off any box of steak. Shout out to Elijah Cox, of course, the producer behind the glass, the best in the business. We can't do it without you. Shout out to Quentin Mills, who is off today on assignment with the family. Always family first here. So have a great, great time, Q. And Matt, I guess kind of sort of on assignment. So let's bring him in, the one and only Mr. Matt Grissom.
What's going on, Jeff?
We're trying to figure this out here. My producer here, Elijah, said you're still celebrating the Arkansas win. How's it feel, brother?
Oh, it feels great. So I'm taking my son, my 12-year-old, to the Cowboys-Lions game this weekend. Arkansas's off, and I was thinking the flight was later in the afternoon. Turns out it's here in about an hour and 30 minutes. So we had to get to the airport, but the show must go on, Jeff. The show must go on.
We'll go an abbreviated one because I want safety. I want your son to get to Jerry's World just as much as you. So we'll make this one short and sweet for you. You were on the show last week, and I wish my spidey senses were this good every week. If they were, I'd never leave the presidential suite at the Bellagio. I was not worried about your Razorbacks covering the 14. I told you here on the show, I had a feeling they could pick off the undefeated Tennessee Vols. What'd you see there, Matt?
Man, that was a great call. I heard Matt Humans talk about me yesterday on their college football podcast. He said, I had Grissom on, and I was really hoping that he would put his Razorback hat on and take the Hogs so I could get talked into doing it. But he didn't. He laid it with Tennessee, and he said, so sometimes the fans, they have a lot of disillusion, I guess, for you expect losses, okay, especially Arkansas. The quote from the T-shirt that went viral that we almost always almost win. That is life of a Razorback fan. And once again, you thought it was going to happen. You see Nico get the ball back. They're down what was it, 6 points or 5 points, and they drive down the field. They complete the big pass before Nico ultimately runs it out of bounds. But just in the back of your head, you're sitting there watching it, thinking, "All right, how's Arkansas going to blow this?" We had every excuse in the world to do it too. Malachi Singleton has to come in for an injured Taylon Green. Jaquinda Jackson goes out. We're on our third string running back with Braylon Russell, who played his ass off. But I mean, they get it done finally. I don't know what it is about Sam Pittman and night games in Fayetteville, but now moves to 6-1 straight up, 6-1 against the spread. That includes the liking of knocking off 3 top 25 teams along the way. So I see an early number at +9.5 versus LSU next weekend. It's a night game in Fayetteville. You know what to do.
well, the SEC, pre-flop here, who would have thought going into, what is it, week 7 of the NCAA, the biggest weekend of the year, of course, that Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Missouri, the list is endless, all have at least one loss. I mean, it's wide open there. Of course, now Texas standing high above courtside, looking down, but they got the red rifle rivalry, which we'll get to soon. But you got to be feeling good, Matt, and the SEC, wide open right now.
It is. And look at Vanderbilt. I mean, who would have ever thought they would beat Alabama outright? I mean, this year of all years. I mean, because we've been asking for this bigger playoff, and we thought that there would be a lot more parity with it. But I mean, how in the world, looking right now, halfway through the season, how do you pick 12 teams to say those are the best 12 you can come up with?
The funny is, and we had Paul Stone on yesterday, we had Ron Marmolewski on later. There's going to be an SEC team or two that is going to be sitting at, 13, 14, 15, potentially with 3 losses. And then you're going to be looking at 12, 11, 10, maybe undefeated, maybe 1 loss here. And you're going to say, well, we know this team is the better team, but lots of times it goes by wins and losses. And a couple of these teams are going to be outside looking in, Matt, after they beat up each other.
Yeah, I completely agree. Look, so if LSU, because that's one of my bets this weekend, I feel like big game Lane, he always lays an egg in a big spot. He's going to Baton Rouge at night to take on this LSU team that I'm really not sold on. But if LSU comes out of that game and wins, but then Ole Miss beats Texas and Georgia, is 10-2 Ole Miss with bad losses against who'd they lose to last week? South Carolina? No. My mind just went blank. Kentucky. There we go. I knew it was an East school. So if they lose to Kentucky and LSU, and they're at 10-2, but then LSU drops to Arkansas, and they're at 10-2, who do you put in at that point? Like that's going to just be one scenario of many where I feel like are the same. What team is playing better at the time? And then do they pull the old Jordan Travis, Florida State, like, oh, well, this team had a big significant injury. Let's leave them out because they probably won't win anyways.
And you could get a popsicle headache just on this week's games. Again, if Oregon knocks off Ohio State, if USC knocks off Penn State, and Oklahoma pulls the shocker this week and beats Texas, now you're going to go through 1 to 10, and they're all going to have 1 loss, Matt.
Yeah, we're set up this week and next week. I feel like it's going to start paving the way of how we're going to get to 12. But I'm not going to be surprised if we don't see a repeat of last week here down the line, because there's still a lot of teams that I have big question marks through. And like I said, we're halfway through the season. A lot of these teams by now, I'm done adjusting the power ratings on. I've kind of figured them out. There's still a handful of teams that are quote unquote good that I'm not completely sold on, and Texas being one of them.
Well, I have to ask you, I'm going to stop right there. I mean, I've seen some 14.5s. I've seen some 15s. I'm going to pull up my numbers right now. We remember a few weeks ago, Tennessee coming in to Norman and taking care of business. The return of Quentin Ewers here. I had an opening number of 15 with a 51.5, now 14 at the circle with a 49. And my point is, I always trust and respect the opening numbers, Matt. At 15, 15.5, there's only one way that number could go, and it's dropped to 14. Now, I know revenge game. Oklahoma won a back and forth game last year, but 51.5 now down to 49. They're telling me two things. Not only is Texas going to win and potentially dominate, they're saying the defense is going to really shut Oklahoma down here.
Yeah, I know Oklahoma's going to be without one of their star wide receivers, which hurts. But again, who has Texas beaten that you're just like, oh, wow, they dominated them? And you could say Michigan, but I think we've seen at this point, Michigan's not very good this year. And Quinn Ewers is going to come back. He's probably going to be rusty. It's not a defense that I would want to come back against. Give me a UTEP or somebody. Let me ease into it. You're going to play a pissed off Oklahoma team that probably has highlighted this game as the one, especially after the loss to Tennessee. It's like, okay, we've got to get right in this spot. So I did lay it with Texas, but I immediately had regret here at minus 14 that maybe Texas plays this a little closer than they should. Maybe Oklahoma has a little bit left in the tank. I don't know yet. I'm going to try to get a good read off of it, but it did give me flashbacks of betting Tennessee last week. Is this team really good? Is the team in red going to go and beat the team in orange? We'll see. Hopefully, I was on Tennessee last week, Texas this week. We'll see what happens, but I'll be shocked if Oklahoma wins outright. Then again, it's a rivalry, so we'll see. But I think Texas, they've got to prove it to me. But I feel like this Oklahoma team is just innate on offense. I don't see how they're going to be able to move the ball against Texas defense.
The road college kids, momentum crowd lathered up on night games has not boded well for Georgia, for Alabama, for Ole Miss. The list is endless here. We saw Missouri first road game last week taking on the chin to A&M. And I'm looking here, and I go to Penn State going east to west. Of course, the biggest game of the week here, Ohio State traveling on the road to Oregon. Oregon pre-flop, a lot of people love them. They struggled out of the gate, but they're getting their swagger back. We never see Oregon at home as dogs here. Thought process, Matt, this week especially, road teams traveling to big time programs here as favorites.
Yeah, and I think Tim Murray said it last night. Big Ten teams that have traveled 2 time zones or more are 1-8 in those games. I think that's straight up. And I'm not sold on Ohio State, albeit Texas and Ohio State are power rated number 1, number 2 in our ratings over at collegefootballinsiders.com. Yet I still have question marks about both of them. I'm not sure if Will Howard is that great of a quarterback. I think Ryan Day has built a very expensive team that should probably be performing better than what they are. But then on the flip side, you look at Dylan Gabriel, and he's not been very good. He turns the ball over so often when they get to the red zone. And I've joked, but I think Dan Lanning is allergic to covering spreads. I think he's 1-5 now, or 1-4 against the spread. He hadn't hit a team total. I don't know what to make of this Oregon team, and I don't know if they're just slow playing it. It does scare me a little bit to back Oregon in this spot because we've seen Dan Lanning not get it done in big games, i.e. against Washington twice last year. But again, I still have question marks for Ohio State, so give me the home dog here. I laid it with Oregon, or I took the points with Oregon.
Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Thank you as always for joining us. We got Matt Grissom on his way to the airport, jumping on a plane to go to Jerry's World to witness what's going to be a great game. Dallas has lost the last few at home, and the Lions coming off a bye will be licking their chops there.
Yeah, I thought about looking at tickets for Texas OU there at the Cotton Bowl, uh, but they are outrageous, and it's going to be about 92 degrees at kickoff, so be rough. But what a game that would be!
Before we get to your six-pack here today, I have to ask you, UNLV tonight travels to Utah State. We know Utah State can't stop a nosebleed. UNLV 2 weeks ago lose the quarterback, lose their starting running back. No problem. They destroy Fresno State. They come back on a Friday night game, a tough spot, I thought. Got out early against Syracuse, end up losing in overtime. Couldn't get that stop. Big time favorites today at Utah State. And the funny here, Matt, is I'm a team total guy, right? So I go to my numbers here, and I'm just looking right now. They are favored by 19 with a 66.5. And I'm a team total guy. Their team total is 42.5, juiced over -120. You got a feel for UNLV or Utah State tonight?
I would lean under on that. This is a weird spot for UNLV. They should not have lost that game last week. They were like 2 picks away from being able to win and cover in that game against Syracuse. And I'm high on UNLV. I feel like it's a little bit of a letdown. They probably just watched their college football playoff hopes go to die last week. Traveling on the road, Utah State's not very good. I think they're 1-4, 1-5 right now. But when you're laying that many points on the road after a gut-wrenching loss, that's a tough spot to be in. I could see UNLV winning this game like 35-17 or something like that. It would be too close to cover the spread, but I would lean under on those team total points.
All right. Well, we're gonna give you, like I said, your safety is my number one concern. We're gonna go to Elijah Cox here as we get ready for your Matt Grissom and your six-pack this week. Matt, I would usually say the stage is yours here, but I'm going to say the runway is yours. How's that?
That's perfect. So starting from the top, I took Vanderbilt, and I know a lot of respected money is on Kentucky here. Look, you throw the Alabama game aside. What do you make this number? Should Kentucky really be a 2-touchdown favorite at home against anybody? I like Diego Pavia. He said that he texted his entire team and said this week's game against Kentucky is the make or break game for our season. It's like we can either be middle of the road SEC or we can push to get to the next level. I don't think that they're going to slip up. I actually think Vanderbilt is good. Throw out the Georgia State loss, which is the bad loss, but they took care of business against Virginia Tech. They were a field goal away from beating Missouri. They did beat Alabama. I mean, I really like Vanderbilt in this spot, and I think 14 points is crazy. I would feel better betting Kentucky if it was, 7 or 8, but not 2 touchdowns. I feel like Kentucky's defense is good, but they can't move the ball on offense. So give me the Commodores to keep this train rolling with Pavia. And then, like I said earlier, I'm on Oregon. Give me the home dog here. I think Dan Lanning can get it done. I'm not sold on Will Howard. I think Lanning has probably been slow playing his offense a little bit. The defense, I think, is legit. I lean under in that game, too. I think Ohio State traveling out west may get off to a slow start. And Dylan Gabriel, again, he makes some boneheaded mistakes in the red zone. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets all the way down there and throws an interception in the end zone. So I would lean under, but my favorite play on that one is Oregon plus the points.
There's 2 of them. Anything else, sir?
And then LSU, I said it, big game lane. I don't think he shows up. He's pretty bad in big games against ranked opponents. So much to my chagrin, I took LSU plus the points here. I'm not sold on Brian Kelly and this team. But again, Jackson Dart Kentucky showed a lot of their flaws for Ole Miss. I don't think they're a playoff team anymore, as much as I would like to cash that ticket. And then Pitt, you got Cal coming off a heartbreaking loss. They had Miami against the ropes, couldn't get it done. Now you're traveling across the entire country to take on an undefeated team that really hasn't had their big statement win. Give me Pitt. Our website likes them -11, I believe. The projections have been somewhat hit or miss, but I try to play into them when I can. And that one fits the narrative. And then Eastern Michigan, this is a weird line. I'm not really sure how the 1-4 Miami of Ohio team is a favorite on the road against a 4-1 Eastern Michigan team who's 5-0 against the spread. Probably comes back to bite me, but give me Eastern Michigan here. And then Tennessee, I think they get it right. Florida's defense is nowhere near what Arkansas was last week. They just really harassed Nico Iamaleava, and I feel like that was the difference in that game. But Florida's just, I don't know. I think they're going to struggle to score points against Tennessee's defense. I think Heupel gets their mind right. And at anything south of 14, I really like Tennessee laying the 14. I'll take the balls here to get a big bounce back win, 35-14.
Well, as always, what we like to do here is to have you take the stage, or I should say, keep your hands on the wheel here and tell everyone where they can find all your work, Matt.
You know, I've been on a golf course now, and I've been in the car for a show. I think Q has been at the fire station and then in a fire truck. So you never know where we're going to end up. But go check out collegefootballinsiders.com. Nick and Parker and the team have done a fantastic job bringing all the info there. And then I'm on X at Grissom on X, and follow our account at NCAA Insiders if you're not already. Thanks for tuning in.
Matt, be safe. Enjoy yourself. Have fun at Jerry's World, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Take care. The one and only Mr. Matt Grissom on his way to the airport to Jerry's World for the Lions versus the Cowboys there. Always great to have Matt on. Quentin Mills on assignment with the family. Enjoy your morning and afternoon as well. Q. Elijah, let's go to one quick commercial and we'll come back. I'll do a wrap up. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. You just never know where we're going to show up or our guests show up, as always. I was on with Andrew McGinnis before this show here at McGinnis Picks and, of course, at Wager Talk. And then we wrap up the week here with Matt Grissom, 3 Men in the Box, or 2 Men in a Box, or today 1 Man in a Box and a guy on the road on his way to the airport here. No closing bell. I still have not heard from Scotty Webb. Scotty, I know your power is probably still out. I assume your phone's not charged. We miss you. We love you. Just send us some smoke signals to make sure A is okay there. Riley back from Vegas will be back with us on Monday here. I'm just going to give you a quick closing thought. I offered this on Andrew's show, and it's the Canadian Thanksgiving on Monday. Ours obviously will be in about 5-6 weeks here. I'm a giver. I'm not a receiver. I don't do that well. And anyone that's been following us we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, January 1st, 2025. Amazing. I think we are the 1% of 1% that have been on the airwaves for the past 10 years. And I've lost a lot of hair, and it's a lot grayer. I did have a lot more hair when I started here. But we believe, and that's what we are. We're here to educate with a little entertainment. I don't come out here and pump our picks. I'm not Stu Feiner. I'm not Vegas Dave. I'm not any of those blowhards. But we win. That's what we do. Whether it's each week, each month, each year, each quarter, however you want to break it down. For almost a 10-year span, we're in the low 56%. So the key to success is that 52.3, 54.4% at minus 110. Anything over that, you're winning, or at least breaking even. When you're in that 53, 54% percentile, you are considered sharp. Anything over 54%, you are considered to be making bank, and that's what we try to do here. And what we've been able to do over the last couple of years is to find less traveled spots. Anyone can give out a side on the Oregon or the Ohio State game. Why do I say that? Because if I'm a sports book and I have $1 million on Oregon and $1 million on Ohio State, I don't care who wins. I know one thing. I just made myself $100,000 because that's their 10% big. So we do a lot of team totals here, a lot of plus monies. We turn a minus 170 favorite into a plus 120 team total over, or a first half play. Go to our website at eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. You can look up in the top right, and you can see plans and pricings. You can scroll down and you're going to see $375 a month. That's retail. That price has been there since January 1st, 2015. Okay, I'm not changing that price. We have a lot of people, a lot of big time players that get our texts and our emails daily. They've been with us for 7, 8, 9 years. Why? Because we know what we're doing. They set it and forget it. They're professionals. They're former athletes, business owners, people that want to be in this game that don't have the time to do the work or the research. We're their own sports broker, as we like to say here. But you also see a $99 a month. We call that the ECSI, welcome to the team, welcome to the family, your own gym membership. For $3 a day, you get all our information. You get our breakdowns. You get our futures. You get our props. You get everything for $3 a day. And I say this tongue in cheek, if you can't afford $3 a day from someone that's, my first wager was on 1975 Reds and Red Sox. So I've been around a while, but I've taken my lumps. And I worked for two services in the late 80s and early 90s. Okay. I've learned all the bullshit. Okay. I want my mistakes in my past in the 80s and 90s. No cell phone, no internet. My information came from the Boston Herald, the Boston Globe, the New York Post, the USA Today, the National on Fridays. Okay. Now I'm a numbers guy. I have 50 sports books that we follow around the clock. Like the stockbroker follows the candlesticks, we follow it here. Every bell and whistle, alerts, scratches, lines move a half point, weather reports. We get everything. And so since it's Thanksgiving in Canada on Monday, we're going to give back like I did on Andrew's show. Go to EC Sports Invest, send me a DM. Go to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com and send me an email. We're giving everyone that wants to sign up just today the rest of 2024 for $99. Why am I doing that, Jeff? Because I'm a giver. I want you to get introduced to what ECSI is all about. I want you to be a part of our 10-year anniversary celebration on January 1st. I promise you this, if you sign up today for $99 for the rest of 2024, we'll be talking before Christmas on the next package, whether it's through March Madness and the first pitch of baseball, the Masters, the Kentucky Derby, or through the NBA and NHL playoffs to the MLB All-Star break. So go to Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it today, at EC Sports Invest. Send me a DM, say, Jeff, I'm in, or send us an email to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. You'll get today's alert at some point today. So from Elijah Cox, from myself at EC Sports Invest, to Matt Grissom at Grissom on X, we wish everyone a blessed day and weekend. Prayers still go out to Florida, of course. Everyone in Canada, have a great Thanksgiving. ECSI is signing off. Have a great weekend.